My first job was a receptionist in a certain clinic. I was also doing debt collection. It was such a tough job. I was earning around $150, 150 USD
Per month?
Yeah. I joined this other company, now the Web3 company. That is the company that really made me who I am. So I really worked hard. And then I think it was August around 20 something, I was absorbed into the company. Immediately after my graduation, I was absorbed into the company, and then I was paid 40,000, from 7,000 to 40,000 Kenya shillings.
Amazing.
So I was like, hey! So we had chefs in the company, we had residentials. So our work was just eat, work, sleep, eat, work, sleep, eat, shower, work, sleep. We had washing machines, so we were not even washing clothes, so we had washing machines. So you just put your clothes there, they wash and they dry. Your work is just taking them, folding them. We had a chauffeur who was taking us to where we were supposed to sleep.
To our audience, welcome to this interview with the lovely lady, Sylvia Mutisia, who is a project manager, right?
Yeah.
Who is a project manager as well as a business development professional. And get this, she is also into Web3. She's actually the person who introduced me to the person who then later elaborated what blockchain is and the entire ecosystem. So I'm really grateful to Sylvia. And she's also a customer of ours who happened to have gotten headhunted via LinkedIn after we had revamped her CV and LinkedIn profile. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about why LinkedIn is important, what are her job strategies, how the hell did she get headhunted on LinkedIn, what is she currently doing, and I think I've had lots and lots of conversation with Sylvia for me to know that she is the epitome of working hard and working smart. And she's always looking at things from an angle, which is amazing. And that is a skill that everyone needs to have. And I guess she is the epitome of the Kenyan spirit, which is not kungangana, kujikakamua. Kujikaza. I don't think there is any industry that she can get into that is going to kind of overwhelm her, which I love about her spirit. She's always out there to just get going and tutajua huko mbele, tutapatana huko mbele. So welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you, Lorraine. I'm so happy to be here. Oh my God.
It is such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I think we've had loads of conversation with you. So I am really, really grateful to have you here, and for the audience and members of our community to actually see you and hear your story. I don't think we've ever featured someone who was headhunted on LinkedIn. Now, I always say like LinkedIn is super important because it is the globally acceptable social media platform for professionals, and you can't get headhunted, and you got headhunted. So I'm really curious. I think that is the angle that in which you're going to be talking about. But before you can even start, for the sake of the members of our community and our audience, do let us know who Sylvia is. Where did your journey start? I think that's an interesting story. So let us know, when did you start working? Who are you quintessentially?
Okay. If I speak too much, please tell me slow down. Because I have a lot of stories. Anyway, so I started my job actually as a receptionist before I completed university. My first job was a receptionist in a certain clinic. So it was an eye clinic. So I have also some basics when it comes to prescription and these eye diseases that people suffer. So yeah, I started my journey as a receptionist in an eye clinic. It had a branch in Nairobi and also in Nanyuki. So I was a receptionist. I was also handling claim forms and taking claim forms to insurance companies and making sure that my boss is being paid on time. So basically, I was also doing debt collection. It was such a tough job. I was earning around $150, 150 USD
per month.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Considering, wait, before I say that's amazing, which year was that? And
I think it was 2020 because that's the time COVID hit. Because I remember the rest of my fourth year, I did distance learning and I also did online exams. So yeah, 2020. So it was kind of my internship, but I was what will I say? I was lucky to have it as a paying job. So yeah, it gave me the basics of how insurance company works, and this is going to connect to my former job that I was working. Actually, it also helped me got hired my former job. So yeah, it was 2020. I was earning 15,000 Kenya shillings. So that's around, I would say, depending on the currency. Yeah, and then after that, it was a bit tiresome, honestly, because I am doing something that I did not study for, because I am a computer scientist and I would love something in tech, right? So, but I don't love coding. So I wanted something in tech, but honestly, I don't like coding. I don't like staying on my machine, sorting bugs and all that. So I spoke to a cousin of mine. He's the top most senior Web3 software engineer that I have ever worked with. Yeah, he yeah, so my brother connected me to that cousin of mine. So I just texted him and I told him, you know what, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and I'm really looking for a job and I am okay to start even if it's an internship. One thing with me, I don't mind starting small, no matter where I am. I always start small. So then he told me, you can do an internship. I was like, yeah, I can do an internship. And he was like, okay, come on Monday. And I was like, oh, okay, that was fast.
whoa, just like that.
Yeah, and I told him I can take like 15,000 Kenya shillings. That's okay. That's not a problem because I was earning 15,000, and my goal was to get something that is going to help me grow when it comes to my skills as a computer scientist. Or yeah, by then I had not figured out what I really want to do in my career. So he told me come on Monday. So I went on Monday. But remember, I have not quit the other job as a receptionist. So coincidentally, that job, there was COVID. So we were not doing a lot of what will I say, on-site visits for patients. So you had to call, make an appointment. So my work was to receive phone calls, take appointments, and also at the end of the month, the other branch in Nanyuki was supposed to send the claim form so that I can take them to insurance companies. And if they have any spectacles, prescriptions, I will take them to the, I don't know how I would call them. These people who put the prescription, because ours was just a clinic, but we had to have professionals who are putting the prescriptions, and maybe if you have to ship the spectacles, oversee all those things. So maybe a doctor here would understand what I'm talking about, not everyone, but yeah. So because of that, I was also working from home. And then the doctor was also opening another branch in Medihill. So she wanted me to also relocate to Medihill and live along Gong Road. And remember, I'm earning 15,000, so I don't have money, and the houses there are very expensive. So I had to weigh my options. So I did the two jobs for 1 month, both of them. So I had someone outside. I hired someone in university outside. So I gave her 7,000, and then I took, I think, 8,000. And then I took 8,000 so that she will be running for me errands outside. But then I was having anything to do with invoices, debt collection, because I was sending emails and balancing the sheets for the doctor and all that. And then I also have this other job that now I was called to. So I was doing both jobs at the same time, but I had someone run errands for me outside, because I was like, is it fear of missing out? I'm like, what if I take this job and then I lose the job completely? And what if I take this other job and I'm stuck being a receptionist forever? And I also want to grow. So I don't know. I was not sure what to do then. I was young, I would say. So making such decisions were not like I don't know. I was not thinking. I was so scared of making these decisions because remember, it's my first job.
Yeah.
So
But I do
yeah,
commend you, Sylvia, because if I were put in the same situation, I'll be honest with you, I would have dropped the reception role and be like, "Nana nenda kusumbuka, please, for the love of God."
yeah, yeah. So I did the two jobs, and then one day I had a conversation with this doctor, and I asked her, "So if I move to Medihill with you, how much are you going to be paying me?" And she was like, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25,000. I was like, okay.
Why did she have to count it like that?
She put it like that, and I was like, oh, okay. So I joined this other company, now the Web3 company. That is the company that really made me who I am. Thanks to my boss then. His name is Joel Johnson. I'm just going to give him his flowers here. Yeah, so he made me who I am today. No lies. So when I joined that company, it was, I think we were like less than 10 people. It was now being started. Yeah, I think I was employee 005, if I'm not wrong. So I went in there. I was so tiny. Oh my God. So I remember my first day there, and I met my cousin. That was the first time I was actually seeing this cousin of mine. So I met him, and then he took me upstairs. So the company was in a hotel. It's a certain hotel, Palacina Hotel in Dennis Street. So he took me upstairs, and he showed me, okay, this is where we work. So they were working in the living room, and then they had one room. So it was like a 3-bedroom. So the living room is where us now, other people, we were working, and then we had the, I would say, a very sacred room for the traders now, the OGs.
Yes.
The OGs. That room was out of bounds completely. No noise in there, nothing. Like, it was out of bounds. And then we had...
They're busy saving the nation.
Yeah, so we had another room for the, I will say, the topmost software engineers, and now the traders, where they were sleeping. So they were taking turns. Like, there was no sleep in that company, honestly. So we were working around the clock because we were working with international clients. So I went there, I sat on the table, and then the interview went like this. So Sylvia, who are you? I'm Sylvia. We were like 3 people, myself and 2 guys. So who are you? I'm Sylvia. And Sylvia, what programming languages are you good at? I said C++.
Wait. Yeah.
Very ancient language. So I said C++, C language, JavaScript, Python. Okay, I was good in JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Python a little bit, but now C++. And then my boss was like, he was a Black American. He was like, Sylvia, we don't do C++ here. I was like, oh my God. So my confidence went from 100 to 0. But anyway, yeah. So then I had this other person who was not a developer. He was a business developer. So he told me, Sylvia, you don't like coding. I was like, yeah, I don't like coding. And he was like, yeah, then come do business development with me. I was like, fine, why not? Because the company had only him, and he was like running everything in the company operations and, everything. So we had another a branch in Bangladesh. That I will say Joel was, he's an investor. So he had invested in also another company in Bangladesh. So we're working here in Kenya and also another company in Bangladesh. He had a lot of companies, honestly. I don't know all of them. So I started being a business developer for that company. And honestly, we were working around the clock. Lorraine, if I tell you I was working around the clock, I was working around the clock. And then my first salary was 7,000, from 15,000 to 7,000. That's $150 to $70.
Wait. So $150 to $70?
Yeah. But the thing was, I was like, you know what, Sylvia? I want to start small. I want to learn, because this is Web3. Like, you're from a receptionist job. Boom, Web3. You've not gone through Web 2, 2.0, or whatever. You've just gone, boom, Web3. So I was like, fine, you know what? I'm gonna stay here, but the work was a lot. The pressure was too much. I was not used to that, honestly. And my boss was he would talk and I would be anxious. He was so tough. He was so tough, Lorraine. Oh my God. Even just thinking of it right now, I'm like, oh my God, I really endured that. There's nothing I can't endure in this world. So he was so tough and I really feared him a lot. Like a lot, a lot. But then after I was paid 7,000, then the following month was my graduation, actually. So I went and I graduated, and then that's when I decided, you know what, I'm leaving the receptionist role. So I left the receptionist role, and because my dad is the one who made sure I had that role, he was so mad at me.
I would
Because
assume,
the doctor was
yeah.
telling him, and the doctor was our family friend.
Uh-huh.
So I just resigned. I remember he did not talk to me for a couple of months.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't know I had another role. He didn't know, so I didn't tell anyone. Anyone in my family, I didn't tell them. Only my second born, our brother, knew I had another role. But I told him, don't tell anyone because I want to do this on my own. I want to move from bottom up, move from bottom to at the top on my own. So yeah,
Do
I
you
received my
think
7,000 and then
Sylvia, I'm trying to
you're on mute. You're on mute.
sorry. I'm trying to understand. Okay, so yes, you wanted to do it on your own, but also could the reason be that because it was Web3, like who knew Web3 in 2020? It's like right now leaving an on-site role that is permanent and pensionable. Yes, we have like 55% tax, but you're leaving that for a role that hata hujui iko wapi. Like you literally don't, you have no physical office, you have no way of just getting into the office and knocking and talking to HR, even the CEO. I think it's the same, right? Because Web3 was something that was being, it was kind of new in
It
the
was
market,
booming then.
right?
It was really booming. It was really
And
booming
someone might
then.
have
Many people
confused
tried.
it to, with, I don't know, is it in the same space as crypto, as blockchain, as Ethereum? Like all these things are still very new and people can easily get scared. So was that part
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
reason?
yeah, yeah, true. So where was I? Yeah, so I graduated, I let go of the other role, and then my boss really saw the potential that I had because by then I was working under someone, and then that person was now reporting to him. But then this other someone who's my friend right now, I'm not gonna mention his name. So this other person was really, I will say, take credit for my work, but then my boss noticed. So I was absorbed into the company within a month. So yeah, so I really worked hard. And then I think it was August around 20 something. I was absorbed into the company. Immediately after my graduation, I was absorbed into the company and then I was paid 40,000, from 7,000 to 40,000 Kenya shillings.
Amazing.
So I was like, yeah, so my salary increased and then now I started working directly with my boss then. So it was tough because with American bosses, so we had chefs in the company, we had residentials. So our work was just eat, work, sleep, eat, work, sleep, eat, shower, work, sleep. We had washing machines, so we were not even washing clothes, so we had washing machines. So you just put your clothes there, they wash and they dry. Your work is just taking them, folding them. Yeah, we had a chauffeur who was taking us to where we were supposed to sleep. So yeah, we were just, so the 7,000 to me, that's when I was like, yeah, that 7,000 is okay because I'm sleeping here, I'm not going home, I don't have expenses, so it's my chance to grow. So yeah.
So basically, you guys had no reason whatsoever to not perform. Because if they're taking care of all this other stuff, then your job is
We
to
had
work
no
and
reason not to work. Okay, there were a few rotten people here and there that I also got involved with that made my boss lose faith in me. And for that case, my salary actually was 40,000 for quite some time because I was hanging out with the wrong people. I am a hard worker, yes, but because I am hanging out with the wrong people, it made him not trust me. And I was really working a lot, like a lot. And then, ladies, jealousy here and there. She's pretending she's so busy. And trust you me, I was so busy because I was a business developer. So I was having calls with clients round the clock, and I was working with my boss, and he is so tough. And then every Friday at around 8 p.m., that was the end of business. But for the other days, we were working until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., depending on the client. So, yeah, you're on mute though.
Yeah. Whoa, till 2 a.m. Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. For someone who doesn't know what a business developer does and Web3, could you expound what those two things are?
Okay, so what I was doing as a business developer, I was by then we were using Upwork. We will also, I think, have another session on about Upwork. So we were using Upwork. So I was so green. I didn't know Upwork. Okay, I heard about Upwork when I was in university, but I had not used Upwork. So we were using Upwork to submit bids because the company in Bangladesh, remember I mentioned the company in Bangladesh, the co-founder had an Upwork account. So it was easy for us to get jobs from his account to the company. So yeah, so we had credentials, we were also agency members. Okay, I will explain that in our next session, what an agency is and all that. Yeah, so I was an agency member, so I had an account under him. And we were submitting bids, and then we were getting jobs from Upwork, and then it was my job to make sure that I scheduled the meetings. And then after I scheduled the meeting, I was adding it to my boss's calendar so that we may have the meeting. He's he's, I will say, one of the best people that I have ever met when it comes to doing business. And I am so glad I was under him during that period, because I don't think there's a time we ever went into a meeting with a client and we did not get out of there with a deal.
Awesome. Awesome. I like how you're speaking about Joel being very, very tough, but at the same time, you're appreciative of his experience and how he does stuff.
Yeah, like I think the business skills that I have right now, it's from him. Like anyone who's working under him right now should take this opportunity to learn everything that he's giving them, because I really learned a lot. He was tough. People would say he was toxic. But for me, I did not see all that, but I saw a learning opportunity from him. Yeah. So I will schedule those meetings, and then we will go into the calls, and then he will do the introduction. So my work was just to listen in for the first few months, and I would say for 1 month actually. Yeah, for 1 month. And then there's a time almost everyone in the office got COVID. So I was one of them. So we had to go home. And then we were working from home. And then out of the blues, Sylvia, today you're doing today's introduction. So that's how he talks. Okay, he has a heavy voice. So I was the one who was supposed to do an introduction. Then I was like, oh my God, I am doing the introduction today. I have never spoken to a client. My work was just messaging and all that, but I have never spoken to a client. So because all the business calls that we have were always recorded for the purpose of writing the software requirement specification document and also referring to anything. So my job was, okay, I think I was doing both business development and a little bit of project management. So I was making sure that we have the client on board, and Joel will help me close the deal. And then I will write a proposal. Before we close the deal, I will write up a proposal, and then the client will sign it off or say this amount is so much, I can't pay this amount. Then we go to the negotiation phase. But if they are okay, if the negotiation was done during the call with Joel, it will be so easy. So they will just sign off the proposal, and then I will start writing the software requirement specification document. Yeah, and then that document has milestones and everything. So I was just following up on that. But my other person that I was working, who's now my friend, was the one now who was in charge of making sure that now things are running smoothly after the project has been onboarded. So basically, he was the acting project manager, but I was also helping him in a way. Yeah. So after like a month, I started talking to clients. So I went and listened to everything that he was saying in those videos, and then I took notes. I was writing, okay, so like I wrote my whole speech and I read it to the client. Yeah, so that was my first introduction call. I did okay, but like I was reading, so it was evident. I was reading. And I was so new and green to the company because remember, I was just like 1.5 months in. So because it was around August. So and I joined the company July, end of June. So around 31st June. Is it 31st or 30th? Yeah, that the end of June. So I was like 1.5 months in. Yeah. So
But Sylvia, I like the fact that, and someone can term that as onboarding, right? And training. I like the fact that you are allowed to listen in for a month and a half before you actually told, okay, now shoot your shot with the client.
yeah. So I think this company is carrying a whole of my story because I am not even halfway through that story. So it's my story. It's like I said, it's what made me who I am. Joel is the one who made me who I am today, and I am so glad for that because he gave me that exposure. Because you can imagine working as a receptionist, and then boom, you're into Web3. You're working with international clients, not African clients, international clients. So you can imagine that he really gave me that exposure, and yeah, so with time I got into, yeah, I had to learn how he does his negotiation skills, and then he decided we need to have our own Kenyan Upwork account. So you can imagine who was supposed to be in charge of that, me. So I was in charge of the Kenyan company and also the Bangladesh company. But after some time, I focused on the Kenyan company alone. So as I was mentioning before, every Friday, 8 p.m., as a Caribbean boss, he will give money to our HR. They will go buy alcohol and everything so that we can close the week nicely. And remember, we were in a hotel, so we had a heated swimming pool. So Friday we were just okay, people, and then on Friday I think we were having chicken and potatoes, these potato
Wedges,
So yeah, and some nice stuff. So it was a very good company. Oh my god, I have.
Do you miss the you it sounds like you miss the company more.
If you want any drink, it's there, popcorns, everything. So our work was just, snack, wait for lunch. The chef has brought lunch, you go serve, you eat. You put the plates there, the chef is going to come and wash them. Like literally, we're not doing anything. Our work was just working. So on Friday, he will buy people alcohol, they will go drink. I don't drink. So he saw that as an opportunity, which I am not complaining anyway. So every Friday we had a session, a business development session.
Ah.
So we would watch
Whilst other people are drinking, whilst other people are drinking, you guys have
in the swimming pool.
Yeah, you have a business development
upstairs
call.
to his office.
Wow.
Yeah, he calls me upstairs to his office, and then now we start brainstorming business development, and and then he's tough. Lorraine, he has, when it comes to business, he's so tough. But when you do your job well, you'll be friends. So you can I have anxiety, but I know I'm also good at my job. So it was, I would say, tough, but at the same time, it was bittersweet. I would say, yeah, bittersweet, because I was so anxious, but at the same time, I'm really learning a lot. So people will go swim, enjoy, drink alcohol and all that. And then Sylvia, I am upstairs at my boss's office, we are brainstorming how we are going to do this Upwork thing. So I dive into research, and he's like, I need an agency name. Sylvia, you need to produce an agency name. So I produce an agency name. I remember by that time, I'm also very creative. So the moment he told me that, I was like, what if we name our agency Nairobi Stars Developers? That's in short, NSTAR Devs. So he was like, yeah, I love that. So let's do NSTAR Devs. Let's get some logos. I was like, ooh. So
Wait, Sylvia. How old are you at this stage?
When I was at uni, I think I was 2021. So I think I was 22 years.
Oh, that is, yeah. I mean, it might have molded you to the person that you are at the moment, but that was a huge responsibility for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, I was 23 years then. That was 2021. Yeah. So so he told me to come with an agency name. I came up with an agency name, and then now it was time now to come up with that logo. I would say we had the best logo for NSTAR developers. And he was like, yeah, I want this N and a half star, and so it was up to me and the developers to figure what he wants out. I would say it was a very good learning experience. And then with time, I caught up with the business. I was able to answer some questions on my own, because when a client reaches out and has some questions, okay, for instance, he's like, well, which chain do you think we should run this bot on? So I was able to, answer a few questions and say, you can run this on Ethereum, or you can run this on this chain, because this chain is more profitable. This chain does not have a lot of gas fees. Okay, right now, I think I forgot some terms, but there's things to do with gas fees, there's things to do with liquidity pool. It's a lot for a person to choose which chain that their bot should run in. So
and I'm saying, I'm sure me and thousands of us who are watching are like, yeah, we just had Ethereum and they're the terms. So please comment down below if you want an in-depth explanation as to what those terms are. I think I'm cool with yeah.
So I started getting the glimpse of what the business really is. Is it a glimpse? I don't know. Feeling the business. And I would say I was the founder of NSTAR with my boss. So that was like my little baby. So I will do anything for that agency. So I was working around the clock as the only business developer. And then now we started getting a lot of clients. We started getting a lot of inquiries. So I would end up having a burnout. So he asked me to get someone to help me. So that's where now training starts. So I start training business developers to help me with this role. So I started training business developers, and then he started backing off bit by bit. So he was not also attending all calls. So it was up to me to close a deal. It was up to me to train people and make sure that the business is running. So for him, he was like, okay, Sylvia, how much have we collected this month? How many clients do we have this month?
Talk about growth. That is growth, Sylvia. Moving from a receptionist to never having done business dev before, business dev in Web3, and now you're closing deals. Not only lead generation, but now you're closing deals and coaching other upcoming business developers. That is growth.
So I started doing all that, and then we started being a very big team, and it was my role also to know which developer is fully stacked, and which one is less stacked. And I had to know every developer's strong points and weak points, so that I may know which project they're supposed to work on. So I was an expert.
When you say, Sylvia, when you say fully stacked, you mean like the workload they have at the moment?
Yeah, because there was a time that we were not even taking in more projects, because we had a lot of projects and our developers had a lot of work. So I remember this was 2022 December. No, actually 2021 December. the same year I joined the company, we were not taking in any more projects because we had a lot of projects and we were breaking for Christmas. So yeah, I really worked hard, I would say, for us to have developers fully stacked and at capacity completely, and they would not take any project. So I was an expert in such a way that I would look at an Upwork job like this and I would say, yeah, take this so and so will have to work on this, take this one so and so will have to work on this. Like I will not even have to read as a whole job description. I will just skim through and like okay, this one we can do this, we cannot do this one, yeah, yeah. So, and I think by then I was like 6 months into the job because August to December. Yeah. So, and the projects that we were onboarding were like $10,000 projects, $7,000 projects. So they were projects worth a lot of money, not like 200. Yeah, it was good money. So, and the good thing with Joel, he had a way of motivating us to work. So, you find that maybe he had like I will say I will be given a certain percentage if I onboard a project.
So, you're earning a base salary plus commissions. Amazing.
Yeah, not just commission.
Mhm.
When I onboard a project, and then when the projects get completed successfully.
Whoa. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So when a project gets completed successfully, myself and the developers were given a certain.
So that was like incentives to make sure that one, you meet the deadlines, two, the customer is satisfied. I see where project management starts to come into play.
Yeah. So and with that it will really motivate me. And then after some time, he was like, Sylvia, I need you to collect like $20,000 this month. I'm gonna give you $500 in return. So not on board, collect. Because for me to collect money, the milestone has to be completed successfully and the client has to sign it off so that they may pay. So I was able to meet my target, get my $500, and also when I onboard a certain amount of clients, also I get paid. So you might find even I was not even like the money that he was giving me here and there were even summing up and even more than my salary. So yeah, and then so the most interesting part was when I started. Then I started training people, and then we brought in now a professional project manager that I was working with. Yeah, because now the person who was my friend yeah, the person who was my friend now became a developer operation. So also his title went up. And I was also the youngest manager in the company. I will say all the companies that I have worked for, I have been a manager except one, the former one. Yeah, so we started, working now as a team. The company has grown to like 100 people. So now the company is
From 510 to 100.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What is the demographic in terms of age? What are the age ranges?
I will say young people from campus who are looking to start their journey, and the ones who really took that, I will say, positively and really worked hard like me. We are where we are today because a company like that, we really have luxury. Like we have residentials in Kilimani, we have a chauffeur, we have chefs. We had so the chefs number really grew to I think 3 or 4 chefs. So we had our chef and we had his chef. Before we had only one chef because we were very few people. So we had the chef that would cook for us and him. He was eating different food, those people. Anyway, so
Those people. Uh-huh. Those people, okay, uh-huh.
Yeah. So we really grew, and then we had to move. We had to move to a bigger office, but that office was also not enough. So we had to move again to another bigger office. So when we moved to another bigger office, now Joel introduced an MD. And sorry to say, Joel, but that's where he messed up. because working with him was, he's an action type of person. Like, he gets things done. But now you introduce someone else in the middle, and he was gatekeeping to get to him. So yeah, so it got to a point where, like, I need a salary increment because I was doing a lot. So I started doing, I was doing business development. I had a team of like 7 people that I was managing. And I am also making sure that the developers have work. So we had like more than 25 developers. I was not really working that much with designers because, bots don't need a lot of design. But now when it comes to the product perspective, the company products, that's when now I will be involved. So I was also working with the product team. And I was also working with the marketing team. Like, I was working with literally like everyone in the company. So I felt like I need a raise. Because when people become too many in a company, even getting a raise is a bit hard. But when you're few, you can talk to him directly. So I did not have that luxury or privilege of talking to him directly again. So I had to go through the MD, but the MD was gatekeeping. So I don't think he even told him. Actually, he did not tell him I needed a raise, because when I was leaving the company, I told him I have been speaking to so and so, and I needed a raise, and I wanted to stop doing business development and start doing project management exclusively and product management with a certain project manager, because it got to a point where we were refunding projects a lot because I was not that much involved. And you might find clients say, I spoke to Sylvia, I want to speak to Sylvia, I want Sylvia to handle this. So at the end of the day, I'm still doing project management, right? And when it comes to refunding, I'm the one who's doing the conflict resolution with these people. So I was doing all that, but I am the head of business development department. Then I saw that we were starting to have misunderstandings. My salary, I am not. I felt like I have done enough business development and there's no room for growth anymore. So I have trained people, they are doing what I was doing. So my work was just, okay, go into the room. I was not in the same office as them. I was with the senior developers who we joined at the same time. So
You moved to the big boys club.
even Joel knew. He was like, okay, Sylvia, I'm moving your team to wing B, but you're going to stay here with the senior developers, because he knew I will never move to that wing. And I felt like I want to be with people who are at my sorry, not at my level, they were above me, so that I may learn. I like having people who are I like having people around me who are smarter than me.
Yes.
So that I may learn
Yes.
from them.
Yes. There's a saying that amongst your friends, you should be the not stupid, but you should be the less experienced, less learned, so that you can actually learn from them. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you should change rooms. So I hear you.
Exactly, yeah. So I was staying with the senior developers. So it got to a point that I'm just going into the room. Okay, so business developer, hey, what did you do? How many businesses do we have? What challenges are you facing? So we will have daily stand-ups with them. And, it got to a point where people came into the company and I'm not being given capital to run the business anymore, because budgeting and all that. But before, he was, releasing money. You can't get money without investing money. That's one thing for a fact. So there was that challenge. Yeah. And then, so I started applying for jobs. But at this point, am I applying for job as a business developer or a project manager? So I started applying for jobs as a business developer. But what type of business developer? An Upwork business developer? You're not going to get a job as an Upwork business developer. So I kept telling my team, anytime you're applying for a job, anytime you're here, there's no way you're going to get out there and be a business developer who has been working on Upwork. One thing about me is that I kept I was not just their manager, but I was also,
Yeah.
translate
Mentorship. So trying also to mentor them to see life outside of that existing company, which most likely was their first role.
Exactly. So I had to apply for those roles, but I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I want to be a business developer anymore, although I am a natural when it comes to business development. I know how to speak to the client. I know how to read the client's mood. I can go into a room like this and they can tell you this client is pissed off, handle him or her in a certain way, handle this client in a certain way. Yeah. So I was a natural when it comes to business development, but I wanted something techy. So at this point, I wanted to do project management. So I know I was doing a little bit of project management with business development, but I wanted to do project management, product management exclusively. So remember I told you I started asking for a raise, but
It wasn't coming through.
So I had an Upwork account under the Ensta agency. So I was like, this Upwork account, I don't even use it that much. So let me remove it from the agency and start, doing a small side hustle. Yeah. So that's when now my Upwork journey started. And this was like February 2023. This was last year, 2023. So I took off my Upwork account from the agency and I started, placing bids for business development for $5. I started with $5. My first salary on Upwork was also $5. Anyway.
Moving from what, 500 commission and 40,000. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a side hustle, so I was still working with the company. So Upwork was just like a side hustle. Yeah. So I saw that, and then we also have we had a placement service that I was in charge of. So we were supposed to look for jobs here and there and place developers. But then there came this opportunity in the company that I was working now previously, and they were like, this company needs developers. And then I asked my business developer, and what else do they need? And he told me, yeah, they also need project managers. And I was like, okay, let me speak to the management so that they can place me there. It's a win-win. The money that I'm going to be paid is going to come back to the company, right? And in return, I'm going to gain experience in this company as a project manager. They refused. They told me, Sylvia, you're a manager. There's no way you're going to leave these people. There's no way you're going to leave. So you're going to stay here. You can place your business developer to go there, but you cannot go.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay. So I had a friend who used to work in that company, and we were working with her at that point. So I told her, there's an opening in your former company and I want to apply. Can you help me push this application so that I can get the job? Because I really want to change my career from business development to project management. And she was so happy for me because she was my mentor, actually. Yeah, so I applied for the role and I got it. I got the role. I got the project management role. So I have worked with Joel for like 3 years and I can't tell him I'm leaving the company. Honestly, I lied. I lied to him and I told him I'm going back to school.
Yo, Sylvia, treat employment as a business transaction. It is not personal. It is work. You paid for your services, which is one. Yeah.
He might come across this video, but I am very sorry. I lied. I was not going to school. I got another opportunity as a business, as a project manager, because I told you guys I want to do project management. You did not want me to go. You did not want me to go, to leave the company, go be placed. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm an asset or anything, but I don't know. So I got this other job and I had to lie because I didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
So
Ukajikata.
and I told him I'll be working for the company part-time. So the company actually was almost the same place as the World's company. So I told him I'll be coming in from 6 p.m. to late because, we were working with international clients, so time zone was not a problem. Yeah, so I chose my next of kin now as a business developer. So I appointed someone else to be the manager. Yeah, being a manager is actually tough because it comes along with listening and making sure that your team has everything that they need, and and they are not going to be oppressed. Is it called oppressed? They are not going to be oppressed, and you'll be there to kuwatetea. Inaitwaje na English? Yeah, you're going to fight for them no matter what. So for me, I really loved my business developers. Honestly, I love them with all my heart because they were like my little babies. Okay, some of them are older than me, but these are my people. I mentored them. I have to protect them at all costs. So even during management meetings, I was like, "You guys, we brought in more than $100,000 last year in profit, and my business developers are getting this amount of money per month. No, I'm not going to entertain that. You need to add them each 10,000." So you find that they were getting salary increments, and they were like, people in the company were like, yes, see, they want to come to your company because
Tough boss.
yeah, I will not let anyone joke with my business developers and my developers. I actually used to call them my business developers and my developers because I also did not want, let me say, my senior developers to be bothered by anyone, so I think I was the only one who will tell them to do something and they will do it. Someone else will come tell them to do something and they will not do it. They will go through circles with them, but I will not give them an option. As a manager, you are not supposed to give someone an option. You can listen to them and reason with them, but if something really needs their attention, don't give them an option to back off. I learned this also from Joel. He never used to give me an option.
When work needs to be done, it needs to be done.
Yeah, and also for a client, don't give a client an option. So if you're a business developer, don't ask a client, would you please tell us if 3 p.m. UTC works for you? No, you tell the client, I am scheduling a meeting for 3 p.m. UTC and I will share a link with you. So they don't have an option to say no, you know? They don't have an option to say no and if they say no, they're going to give you an option. They will tell you, okay, 3 p.m. UTC, I have another meeting. Let's do 4 p.m. UTC, But if you ask them, will 3 p.m. UTC work for you? They will tell you no. And that's it. They might tell you, yeah, exactly. So all this I learned from Joel. He don't give a client an option. Don't give anyone an option. Listen with them, reason with them if they have a reason to say no. Yeah. So
you're still doing business development part-time. Let's talk about your project management experience. How was that, having moved from Joel's company to the next company? Was there, I think the biggest question is, was there a salary increment? One. And if there were, how was the company culture? Because I'm assuming you're coming from being a manager and now you are a project manager.
yeah.
How was the cultural difference, company culture difference, and how did you cope?
Oh my God. It was tough, Lorraine. It was tough, so tough. It was very, very tough because remember I don't want to mention anyway. Yeah, in my Joel's company, yeah, I was a manager. I used to make decisions alongside Joel. Joel will say yes, I will tell him no and give him a reason to. That's how Joel operated. And I don't think people knew how he operated, because don't give someone a no and he's your boss and don't give him an alternative. So I think that's one thing that those people who came in didn't know how to handle. So they would just say yes or no.